I'm digging this soundtrack. Oh my goodness. Hey, me. Hold on. This game is like chopping my frames. At least on like OBS side. So when I look at the playback, it's chopping it up. Kind of funny. Though it doesn't say I've dropped any frames. I wonder if I cannot tell. Also, people are closing doors and bringing the house down. Okay, I was wondering if it was on my end. So I am dropping frames. Hella choppy. Okay, I was about to say, I'm like, but when I do this, when I'm not in the game, suddenly, everything seems to be sort of encoding right. Interesting. So what is it about the game that makes it happen? Apparently. And here we go. Oh yeah. Oh, that slurp bad. Oh, now it seems to kind of be fixing itself. Now it fixed itself. Fixed itself. Fixed itself. No. I've never played this game. I saw it on sale today and I was like, I kind of, this sounds like fun. This sounds like a lot of fun. So, I picked it up. Career, I don't know. Just hold shift together with all those buttons to show the model from preset angles. Let's see. By the time you read these words, I'll be gone. You were the only one who always felt the same creative magic that I felt. And that's why I leave you my workshop. It has space aplenty for plenty of tools and displayed models. Wow, I can read today. But I didn't want to give you a grandfather museum to take care of. This place needs to live. Please make it so. This is my last request, Grandpa Stan. Thanks, Stan. Still do it anyway. Later. Whew. Alright. The usual WASD walk. What is this? Who's Mike? Some pretty basic graphics, though the movement seems to be pretty smooth. Oh. Oh. I can earn trophies? Well, boy, howdy. I might have to turn the sensitivity down just a tick. If I can. I don't know, I haven't. There. Alright, that feels better. Go to the highlighted area. Interact with the workbench. List of all available projects. Tutorial project. Oh, I think it's actual models. Okay, I'm so down for this. Click the box on the workbench. Start the project. Crack this bad boy open. It's gonna be like actual models, isn't it? Oh boy, boy. Something you should do in general, if you don't have a streaming PC, having Windows keep OBS higher priority for the CPU allows it to keep up frames even if the game drops them. Though only if it's not taxing on the GPU. Shouldn't be. Ooh. Flip to the next page. Click this button to minimize the manual to the window in the bottom right corner. Okay. Click and move the sprue. Oh, okay. Craft knife. Use the craft knife to carefully remove the parts from sprues. Just click and swipe through the joints to cut. Click anywhere to continue. You got it, Chief. Oh, that's gonna be so satisfying for a while. Cut out cut out at least 2 more parts. At least 2 more, so I can cut all of them if I want. Okay. Welcome to the chill stream where we're just gonna slowly do this stuff and jam to this beat. When I first when I saw this in the shop and I was like, that could be fun to play, I did initially think about finding some kind of like chill music for the background that's like non-licensed or anything, but it turns out it works. Got a new GPU, CPU, case, and RAM. Fucking love how it all works now. Didn't realize how shit my RAM was till I looked right before the new one arrived. Ran some tests and it was responsible for so much more stuttering than I ever realized. Boy howdy, ain't that the truth. It's rough sometimes, honestly, when... Oh, let's see. Click and move a part to the work area. Okay. How to attach parts. Okay. Oh, okay. Hold is right bumper and rotate object is... Oh, okay, that's gonna get... Control... Shift... Okay. Okay, okay. So I need to find this part. A1, okay. And I need to find B10. B10, I see 11, 12, 10. Where is B10? Oh, wait, what? Hold on. Oh, this is B10, okay. Ooh. This is A2. How to rotate objects. Yes, I did that in fact. Oh, okay, that's cool. So middle mouse does this. Zoom in, zoom out, back, that way, okay. Okay. Assemble the whole model following the model manual. Press the finish button after assembling the whole model. Okay. Tells you what. It was 16 gigabyte, 2800 megahertz RAM. I thought it was 3000. But worst of all, it was clocked to 2133 the whole time. Now, 32 gigabytes, 3600 megahertz. Made sure it's all clocked up good. The only thing I haven't overclocked is the CPU, and frankly, I'm worried to try it again. Last time I had to take off my GPU to access the motherboard's battery, which is a huge pain. Oh yeah, it is. Oh, and if you got a tiny case too that you're trying to run with, oh boy, howdy. Hold on, well, let's see, what is this part? It says A3. Do I have an A3? I don't have an A3. Oh wait, or is this A3? That might be A3. This is B12. Boom. A9. Boom. Okay. Let's see. B13. Glue. I thought it was spacious. It said like 340mm GPUs. Let me check again. Hey. They say a lot of things sometimes. Model complete. Finish project. Yes, I do want to finish working on the project. Thank you. I built the thing. Perfect. I wonder how complicated this is going to get. Because if this gets more complicated, I can see myself spending a lot of time here. So I have... Oh, okay, so I need to like... Can I do painting too? Oh. Game. No game. You're gonna... Warhammer miniature. Oh, hold on. Oh, I get to paint stuff. Oh. Mm-hmm. Oh, we're doing this. Oh no. Oh no, game. Game, you can't do this to me. This is gonna be fun. Flip the manual page to show the painting guide. Use the interactive painting indicator in the manual. Click the highlighter marker to change the current tool and its parameters to those suggested by the manual. Color tool. With this tool, you can paint the whole part at once. Click anywhere to continue. I'm overgrown color. I'm adult coloring. Yeah, it says supports 344mm GPU. Supported on the case page, but GPU is 323, and I swear it was literally less than a centimeter shy of just not fitting in the case. Ooh. Tool manipulation. Okay. Got it. Airbrush. Essential airbrush tool. Applies paint smoothly. Oh no. Game, you can't be trusting me with this kind of responsibility. Dwarf. Click finish project. Okay, so this is gonna... Yes, we're gonna finish this basic one. Gonna go ahead and leave a review about that, and maybe warn others. Hey. Sometimes 1 centimeter means a lot to some people. I don't have to worry about that, but you know, it matters to some. Use the computer. Do I get to buy shit? Mail application. Model building competition. Okay, model building competition for beginners. Finish assembling the competition model. Use decals to improve the model's quality. Rewards, cash rewards. Okay, so there's money involved. Experience, gaining experience and money. Fame and glory in our sprawling model building community. You got to keep your submission model. Let's see. Dear colleagues, we are starting with the next edition of our contest for beginners. If you participated in our last workshop, you know that we have a lot of scrap left. Isn't that the perfect opportunity to have some fun? Each participant will get 1 such model and take good care of it. After the competition, you can even leave it on your shelf. There are no requirements. Every modeler is welcome. Are you interested? Get in touch with us. Best Model Building Society. There's a society now. Absolutely accept. Go to workbench. First competition. Car. Click the box. Click box. Work. Work. Ha! Alright. So we're gonna have to do some painting, some building, and all kinds of stuff. I'm excited. Use the decal tool. There's a decal tool? There is. Decal tool. Use decals to provide a nice touch of color, detail, and authenticity to your model. Click anywhere to continue. I'm gonna hold out for a second. All right, let's get where it be. There we go. Next page. Aha. Oh, nope, there's still more painting. Go back to the paint. Let's find this part. Primer. I'm gonna spend way too much time in this game. People could make a build based on these stats and discover they're just false. Only after everything has arrived and is partially assembled. I'm gonna Hold on, I'm gonna... I want to hit the volume a little bit. Hold on. I'm gonna hit the volume on this just a tick. More than a tick, but you know what I mean. There we go. Yep, we're gonna continue with the model. Thank you very much, game. Let's see. What is exactly what happened to me, but thankfully the particular card I got happened to barely fit. Someone else could get the same 3070 Ti of a different SKU and be fucked. It's... yeah. Let's see. We done that, we done that, we done that. We were here. We're here now. Where were my wheels? There we go. Oh. There we go. Fix it all up, fix it up. No, I hit the button one too many. It's gonna do its loady thing again. Oh, the controls are kinda... they're fiddly. They're fiddly. Okay, here we are. Let's... give me my wheels. There we go. Whew. There we go. Yes, your whole boy. There we go. There we go. I gotta get like right up in there. There we go. Decal tool. Okay, here we go. Now we get to use this guy. Oh, they're gonna make me do this? Okay. Oh boy. Whew. I just gotta like sight it in. Oh. Oh boy. About like that. And on the other side. Whew. Glue. Yeah, whoops. This is D25. There we go. And then this is 26. Wunderbar. Wunderbar. Oh, this is gonna... There we go. Oh, holy help. Apply paint, apply paint. Blah, blah, playing virtual Legos, essentially. That's how it feels right now. And I'm not complaining in the least bit. I'm not complaining at all. Where'd this come from? Huh. Here we go. Now we put the decal on, of course. There we go. Paint the shovel. There we go. Oh, that is not the order in which I would have painted those things. That is not the order I would have painted those things in at all. Model. I have made car. Some kind of Mad Max style car by the look and feel of it. Oh yeah, buddy. Hi, Wasteland Drifter. See, told you. Open your computer and collect your competition reward. What did I win? Did I do good enough for the first place? Mail application. Thank you for taking part in the competition. We hope you had a lot of fun and that you'll continue your model building journey. You, 99.0. That's my happy dance for anyone who does not know that. It's not actually, but you know, that's beside the point. It's funnier that way. Oh, first commissioned work. Model building competition for beginners. Thank you for taking part. Oh, wait. I need a model of an R-35 tank in original 1940s military colors. I'll pay for quick completion of the task and accuracy. The person to whom it will be delivered is a history geek, so the model should not arouse any suspicion. I emphasize, the painting must be accurate. Some parts of the model I prepared myself, as I care about the time of completion. And remember, it is supposed to be realistic, so you can make it a little dirty. If I'm not mistaken, the models are also empty inside, right? Question mark. I'm counting on you to complete the task quickly. Regards, 37. Who's 37? Make use of the dry brushing technique. Okay. Oh wait, what? Open the shop. There's a shop app? What? There is a shop app. Tools. I get to do dry brushing. I get to do dry brushing. Oh, yeah, buddy. Go to the workbench. Yo, game. Oh, this one's gonna be fun. Oh my goodness, this is gonna be... Oh, this is gonna be a trip. Alright. Alright. Finish assembling the model. Use dry brush on the edges and crevices. Apply decals according to the manual. Dry brushing tool. Detailing technique to highlight raised surface element. Yep, that's what dry brushing is. Click anywhere to continue. Oh my goodness. So listen, there's this thing about dry brushing. And that is that you can in fact overdo it. Oh my goodness, can you overdo it? I've seen people ruin very good models because they overdid their dry brushing. Oh, yeah, buddy. Oh, it's another little clover right hidden right there. Okay. There we go. Slap that bad boy right there. What is this screen trying to show me? What are you trying to show me, screen? On screen, you're trying to show me something. I don't know what. I guess it's done? Done maybe? Done maybe. Perfect. Oh, my painting wasn't absolutely perfect. Son of a bitch. I will remember this. Collect. Cash reward, $100. Sweet, and 100 experience. Meeting Joy. Who's Joy? Hello, I worked with your grandfather for years. Oh, this must be Joy. I used to be his assistant and student, and working with him ignited my passion for this profession. This is a profession? This is a hobby. The news of his passing left me with an emptiness in my heart. You know, it was kind of a Karate Kid situation, but with less martial arts and more making cool props and models. There it is. Prop making can be a career. Models, I don't know about that one. Your grandfather left me a piece of his work with instructions to give it to you when the time was right. I'm not sure what he meant by that, but since you're settled in his workshop, I guess now's as good a time as ever. If you've seen 6 Angry Archaeologists, you'll probably like the model. Nice to meet you. Yeah, it's great to finally talk to you. Stan shared some stories about you. It's no wonder he wanted you to have the model. He built a few notable dragon props in his... I want a dragon. But I think that's the first one he ever made. Oh, do I get a dragon? I want a dragon. Oh, and it has his note attached. He used to add unique notes to almost every model he sold or gave away. I've already read it. I hope you don't mind, but I'm not going to spoil it for you. I'm curious about your reaction, so I'll reach out again soon. Have fun with the assembly and painting. Oh, I will. I'll open this package. Oh, this is gonna be fun. I'm so down for this. I'm so down. Note 1. Come on, here we go. Most jobs you will do in life will be tedious, whether you're sitting behind a desk or following your dreams. When I worked at Smoke and Mirrors, I was asked to make a dragon figurine. I had almost no experience, but I knew it was a chance for me to create something recognizable. I had to take that chance. It took me a long time to make the figure you have in front of you. It was fun, but also a challenge. The first time I had to create 2 more identical copies, in case one of them got damaged, which did happen. This statue is an original, and it's special because of how it was made and the story behind it. Sure, it could have been done better. I can see that now, but it was the flaws that gave it its special, unique value. I get washes now too. Oh, I get washes. I love playing with washes. Okay, oh, this is gonna be... Oh, hails monkeys. Strap in, everybody. I'm gonna wash this bad boy. So for those not in the know, washing is a technique when you build when you paint models. That basically what you're doing is you're using a really watered down, or you take paint and you put thinner into it. Hold on, I gotta adjust the volume a little bit more. There we go. Alright, so as I was saying, the washing is the technique of taking a brush, like a heavier brush, dipping it into a paint that you have. You can buy specific inks and washes, if that's what you're, kind of after and doing. But you can make your own really, really easily. You just take the color that you want to you just take the color that you want to wash with. So it's meant to be a type of highlight. I was just chilling, watching streamer, when my mother demanded I make burgers for the whole family of 4. Obviously, I couldn't handle such injustice, so I told my mom, she's a stupid bitch who never lets me just watch my favorite streamers in peace. JK. Had to be right back because I'm making a burger. That's an April Fool's business. What was I saying? Oh, so washing. Washing is the technique of, so you get this heavy brush, right? You get this heavy brush, and you have either like a paint thinner, or you can do just water. And what you do is you get this really runny stuff, and you just drop it into these cracks. It's making a brush sound, which, that's fine, it's a brush, I get it, but it's wrong. You don't actually brush anything with a wash. You're supposed to just like tap the corner into the cracks, let it run through the cracks, let it just naturally do its thing. And what you get by doing that is you get these like deeper lines, which, yeah, I'm using the right one. You can do a wash just where you just like, you take them out and you brush the whole liquidy paint all over it. The problem I have with that is then you have to apply more work when you actually do your dry brushing. I keep forgetting it's April 1st. Yep, it is April 1st. I didn't type it with that in mind, just being an idiot. But it is April 1st. I went to work and everything with April 1st in my brain. But anyway, so yeah, you can just take a brush and just load it up and just brush over it, and it'll settle into the cracks, but then what it actually does is it causes all your flat surfaces to be covered in it as well, and it dries, and it makes it look kind of splotchy and wet, and I don't much jive with it. It seems that that's the technique they would want me doing in here. Man, I gotta get into painting. You know what I gotta do? I gotta send this game to a friend of mine. That's what I gotta do. Because he would play it. So you see kind of how... This is what using when you would just wash the whole flat surface, is it's supposed to get all these little individual things. It's supposed to kind of highlight. And again, like I said, you can do it by just running the whole brush, but me personally, I would just use the corner. Like, okay, oh, it's not going to zoom in on the brush. Look at the brush. You can kind of see the brush in contrast right here. How it's got a flat, surface, and you can see a corner to it. That's awesome. Use those for your inking, because you can load up the whole brush, but use only the corner to, like, get your taps in. They work great. I love them. I love doing it that way. Rather than a heavy, like, pointed brush, you can... Anyway, I'm nerding out because I know about this stuff. In real life, what this would actually be doing is it'd just be so liquidy that it would just drop and run all throughout these little crevices without hardly any effort. Now I have a question, because it's April Fool's. How many streamers did the dumbass move of saying they're playing one game and it turns out they're playing another? Like, that's happened, right? Someone's done that, and people have been like, alright, I thought you were gonna play this, I'm out. Someone out there's bound to do it, right? Like, I understand if you're just doing a joke stream and you're literally just like, dude, we do this all the time, and you're doing something completely stupid and silly. Like, I get that, but almost this idea of like, oh, I'm gonna say that I'm, you know, playing World of Warcraft when really I'm doing X, Y, or Z. I don't know. I don't know. It seems to me like something that a lot of people would have done already. And it seems silly to me. For those uninitiated, I do not participate very much in the whole April Fool's business. I do not quite care. Okay, so I gotta nitpick a little bit. So you see this, you see this flat surface thing here where it's supposed to be like, you would get all into all these little nooks and crannies. This, I would, honestly, you could just dry brush this and get a much cooler looking, design instead of like sitting here and washing like a madman. You could dry brush over that like really well, like use a good highlight over that, and it'll keep that standout really, really easily. But it'll make it look more natural rather than we're sitting here like trying to actively add these little wash caverns. But maybe that's just me. Woo! But that's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my years of experience doing this is all worthless. You never know. You never know. Maybe I should I borrowed a wig, get an afro, call this the joy of painting. Despite the fact that, you know, it's already a show. But anyway. The joy of modeling. I'm your host, Average Game Guy. And we're just gonna, you know, we're gonna sit here and model a bit. Let's wash this little rock. It deserves to have a nice clean little rock surface, you know what I mean? Let's get that water in all those little crevices. Don't forget about these little guys right down here at the bottom. They need attention too. Give them a good washing. This little guy, he's kind of hidden in there. Don't be afraid to get in there deep. Don't worry about. Don't worry. You know, concern yourself with messing up either. It's all you. Welcome to my Bob Ross stream. Oh man, honestly, okay, that could be a lot of fun. Is actually getting the camera set up to do a look down and actually do some painting. That could be a lot of fun. I haven't painted. Oh, I haven't painted in forever. But that could be a lot of fun. Swish, 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 swish. Just lather your wash all over that rock. Lather it up. It doesn't mind, it's just a rock. Actually, it's a model of a rock, so it's not even a real rock to begin with. I can get different paint tips later. Oh my goodness. Game, you cannot do this to me. See, a properly done wash would not take this long to be doing. I would be done inking and washing this whole rock by now in real life. I'd just be like, yeah, watch this, bam. It's gonna look good though, it's gonna look good. The thing about painting models and little D&D figs is that it's always gonna look terrible to you, no matter what you do, because you're gonna see the entire process. But everyone else is gonna look at it and be like, "Holy crap, you did this?" And you're like, "Yeah, it's terrible. Don't look at it." And they're gonna think it's the absolute shit, though. Speaking of which, update on the little fantasy coin things I made for anyone in the Discord, who I believe I posted it there. Maybe I didn't. I can't remember. Maybe I should. Maybe. If I haven't, I will. I got a piece of brass from my metal supplier today, and I went into work, did some extra hours to start actually working on some brass ones, and oh my goodness, they look good. They look so good. I'm so happy. They're in the tumbler now. Not all of them are in the tumbler. I was only able to get half of the sheet that I bought done, because we had to sit there and... So, what we did is we have a routing table. And what the routing table does, it has a little end mill bit, and it comes down, and it drills, and it drills, and it drills, and it runs the program you tell it to. Anyway, we had to recalibrate the machine, and we had to resurface the table that it's on to make sure that the sheet that I got will lay flat. And it turns out it didn't lay flat. There were a few complications that we had to work around. And it delayed things quite a bit. I could have gotten it done. I could have gotten the whole sheet done today had we not run into problems. But, you know, what are you going to do? Anyway, guy at work's who's been helping me make them, he's going to go into work tomorrow and do a little extra stuff on his own for his own projects. He told me he's like, I'm going to come in and do, like, really tedious stuff, so I'll, we can just leave it there and I'll run the machine for you. And I was like, I appreciate that. So maybe I'll check in on, depending on the time of day, I decide to wake up, because I'm sleeping in tomorrow like a madman. But depending on when I wake up, maybe I'll swing into work and just be like, oh, hey, how's it all going? Because I would like to try to get them all tumbled and at least a few polished and looking good before Monday. Like I said, I've already got some in the tumbler, so they're the metal's getting rid of all of its little burrs. It's getting rid of its it's like smoothing out its edges essentially. And they're gonna look awesome. Like, I'm already super happy with them, and they've got all the little burrs and the little spiky metal bits going on, and I'm full of imperfection, and I already love them. I'm like, no, these are awesome. These are great. So now the question I've run into is, if I were to make these little coins for fantasy and like D&D purposes, how do I value them? Like, any good economic system has to have a value system to it, right? So I gotta figure out the logistics of a fictional economy. I would gotta complain a little bit, because I would be so done with this wash in real life if this was me. We're gonna have to do the dry brush after this, so essentially what this game is teaching you is that these are the techniques. You can apply them like pretty easily, but what the game is sort of selling me on here is this idea that, oh, these are the techniques. Here's how you generally apply them. So, for instance, this whole, like, oh, this is what a wash does. It's like, yeah, this is, in fact, how you use a wash. Just not this, with this much tedium. And since we're already gonna... Because there are techniques you can use where you don't have to necessarily do a dry brush highlight. You can just do a normal highlight. And techniques like that are better on models that don't have a lot of these little crevices all about, or a lot of crevices. Like, they work great on situations where you can just be like, yeah, I can... you know, do the single drop of the ink runs through all the crevice that it's connected to, and then it will just kind of fill in the gap. Whereas a piece this big with all these little bits, I would honestly not go this tedious. I would grab a cup, fill it with a little bit of that paint, water it down, and just broad stroke go to town on it, cover it up. Since you're gonna be doing a lot of the dry brushing to do a lot of these little highlights to make it look really, really natural, you would not mind having the whole thing covered in a wash, right? So you would just broad stroke it, just cover it in this wash, like like an absolute madman. To the point where even your surface would almost start to look like the color that it's turning right here. That these little crevices and everything are turning. So if you really just went to town, even your surface would start to look bad. But you can fix it really easily by just taking the base color that you use, this base gray looking color, and just doing a really, really light dry brush over it. And it helps bring back the natural gray color. I mean, it could also be, there's the difference between a wash and an ink. And personally, I like inking better. Because inking's the same process. It's where it's like a really thin stuff, but you can just tap it. And an ink will have a bit more of a shine to it. A wash, most of the washes that you buy just over the counter, like in a jar in the paint aisle at a hobby shop, washes will be just watered down paint. It's just really thin paint. That's what a wash is. Whereas an ink is going to use you can use water and make the ink work, but an ink will be more of you're going to add a paint thinner to make it not dry instead of just having water. Because what you want to do is you want it to go there. Like, you want to dip it, you want to tap it, get in all your crevices, and then you want it to sit there. You want it to have that paint thinner in it to make it not dry immediately. And what it ends up accomplishing is it gives it a heavier shine. So depending on what your wash is trying to accomplish, like on this rock, for example, on this rock, yeah, I would just use a wash, because I don't care that it's not gonna be like super shiny and everything. I don't want it to be shiny. I want it to be dull. And so by using a wash on a model such as this one, like a real wash that's just a watered down paint, you're going to allow it to dry quicker in order to keep a dullness to that color, rather than a brightness that you would normally accomplish with an ink. So, alright, this game has gotten me, like, I gotta paint in real life again here soon. I'm getting... I gotta get a really good fig, though. I gotta get a really good model. I like a really, really good... Oh, man, like, this dragon would be so much fun to paint in real life, depending on the size. There's a company out there, I gotta remember what they're called. It's like Creature Casters or something like that. The models that they have are like 12 to 16 inches tall, or like 9 to 16, depending on the model that you get, but they're huge, and I'm like, I want to paint one of these so bad. But it would be such a time sink. But I want to do it. And they're not cheap. They're not cheap at all. Okay, here, and while I'm on the subject of this rock and like the difference between a wash and an ink, and the reason that I love inks and using inks is inks are great for anything that you want to have a shine to. So, armor, like you get lots of little figurines with chainmail on them, and you are gonna want to use that ink to give it that shine, rather than just a plain old wash, which is going to dull your color. Making an ink with a proper paint thinner is going to keep the paint's shine in it as it dries. And so then when you go over it with your either your airbrush or your dry brush with your metal color over again, it's going to maintain its shine inside of the crevices, and it's going to give it a better contrast, right? Is this all making sense to everyone at home? Is this the joy of painting? Of, you know, but model guy? I would watch Bob Ross paint models like all day long, actually. But I don't think he would. I don't think he'd jive with it. Because he was all about, Bob Ross was all about that landscape stuff. He liked making stuff that, you know, he thought he could go see, or stuff that he did see. Because he was very much a naturist as well. He loved going out, hiking, whatnot. Brush, brush, brush. I am getting a little agitated at the brush sounds, the brush stroke sounds. But, what are you gonna do? And see, for something this finite, you see how very, very small these little patches are? Like, these little divots. I wouldn't be using a wash on those. I would just use a dry brush technique to get the bulk of what I'm after. You can use dry brushing techniques for little tiny things like this, where all you're doing is you're taking your highlight color and you just ever so slightly across that flat surface, just cover it. It'll maintain its darkness, but making it so it doesn't look like, you know, it has absolutely the worst light source in existence. Oh, never mind. I gotta find that guy on YouTube again. There's a guy who does YouTube videos where he just paints models, but he's so good at it, and his techniques are mind-blowingly simple, while also just making the model look gorgeous. They look so good. And I've seen he did a whole series on non-metal paints, so he made all of his models without using a metal paint. Or paint that, like, is the color of metal. So, in other words, there's no silver color when he's making anything. There's no iron or metallic, like, shine in the colors that he used. He manually did it in a particular color, and then he highlighted it, and it, oh my goodness, it looks better than a standard like base metal color. It was so good. I gotta find him again. Alright, looks like we're finally almost done with the wash. Almost. Oh, a whole bunch of you little sneaky crevices. Sneaky crib. Wunderbar. Yep. And this is what your dry brush highlight is supposed to accomplish. Boy, the game really makes it seem so simple, but dry brushing was one of the hardest techniques I had to learn and get good at. And what really sells a good dry brushing technique is not using a dry paint. I know that sounds counterintuitive based on the name, but believe me, you do not want a dry paint. It'll make it look like really, really powdery. The powder will splash around all over the place, and it makes it look terrible. Causes an overabundance of these highlights. Brush, 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 brush. See, right here. This is what using a dry brush makes it look like, but all over. Let me get a bit of a zoom in for you. I know it looks pixelated, don't worry, but you see how it looks like it is just a color on top of it, like you barely see any of the underneath. Over using a dry brush, that's what it does. And using a dry paint, that's what it does. Ugh. Only, worse, because this game's probably like, this game already has built-in layers where they're like, no, like as soon as he passes this thing over, it's gonna do the thing. It's not actually painting, it's uncovering, or it's adding the transparent layer that we made. Kinda, you know what I mean. They're not actually gonna let a monkey like me sit here and, ham fist the keyboard and suddenly be like, model! I make model. I'm so fancy. I'm talented. Yay. No. It don't happen that way. Okay, and here's actually a really good spot of what I was talking about, how you would just use the dry brush technique instead of using an ink over and over, because you get this color. I know I'm pointing at it and you can't see it, but right here, how it just, rather than get an ink in there and cause that base color to just suddenly kind of like fade out because you covered it with a wash, just use a dry brush. Use a really runny wash. Use a really runny wash in these bigger crevices, and then just dry brush this flat surface guy. It will make these little things pop without having to sit there and manually like dab them. This is what it would kind of do. The game makes it take forever, and it's like I would be done. I wouldn't actually be done with dry brushing right now because I would still be letting my ink dry. That's another thing so many people do is they start painting because they want to keep painting, but it's like, no, you just did a wash. You gotta let it dry. You gotta let it sit. I just eaten before Mom demanded I make burgers, so I'm gonna have one later. Good call. I had chicken today for lunch because as a means of paying back my engineer at work who's been helping me with my little coin thingies. It's been good. I was thinking of going getting lunch. I will pay for lunch as a means of thank you. And he was like, yeah, I could do lunch and get some of that. Went and got some of that Popeye's chicken. Oh my goodness. There's we call it the crack chicken because it's tasty. It's something else. I'll tell you that for free. Mostly also because there's so many people in Utah who are all about that Chick-fil-A. Oh my goodness. Can I stop hearing about Chick-fil-A for 5 minutes? But no, I'm in Utah. I get to hear about Chick-fil-A all the damn time. Brush. Who knew a very anti-LGBT state loved a very anti-LGBT corporation? I think people in Utah just like it because we haven't had one. At least not, we didn't have very many. We had, one. And it wasn't very popular. And then all of a sudden, they just started sprouting up everywhere. All of a sudden, there's literally, one on every street corner kind of situation. And everyone was like, oh, yeah, I love Chick-fil-A. It's the best. I've been going there forever. And it's like, yeah, no, you haven't. Don't give me that. You only started going there last week, Stacy, or Jessica, or whatever, common name it we have here in Utah. Haley. Because they moved in there last week, and you just haven't stopped going. They moved across the street from us, therefore, you're gonna go get Chick-fil-A. Why? Because it's right there. That's why you're gonna go get it. It's the only reason why people go get Starbucks. You think people get Starbucks because the coffee's good? People get Starbucks because they know where to find it, and they're like, look, I just need coffee. And they go and they get their coffee, and then they out the door they go. Or they go to Starbucks to get, everything that isn't coffee. It's coffee with, with no fun. And just sugar. That's what, people who do that, it baffles me. That people are like, oh, I go to Starbucks. Cool, what do you get? What kind of coffee do you like? Well, I like this thing that has this much coffee in it and then this much sugar, milk, and cream. And you're like, why are you drinking coffee then? It's convenient chicken. Chicken is good. Their sauce has enough sugar and MSG to be very addictive. Exactly. It's those little situations. It's the same thing with, like I'm saying with Starbucks. No one goes to Starbucks for coffee. You go to Starbucks to get your caramel macchiato with 2 extra pumps of syrup and extra cream on top. Cake pops are one hell of a deal. $3 per pop, which is a grand total of 2 cents of cake batter and icing. Yep. You know what else is taking off here in Utah? For the uninitiated, for the people out there in the audience who don't know, Utah is the place where new restaurants will open a place up. They will open up a new restaurant idea thing here. Swig started in Utah. KFC started in Utah. Several other places like Crumble. It's a cookie place. Started in Utah. And the reason for this is because, you know, we are a very consumer-heavy culture here. As much as everyone wants to sit there and be like, no, we don't. You know, we like the whole stay-at-home thing. Be like, no, you're gonna go buy cookies for your own little, like, family home evening nonsense, like where you're hanging out with your family all night, or for your church event or whatever. And it happens, and I get it. It's fine. I'm not judging people. It's just, you know, you are consumers. Y'all are very much consumers. KFC was a fantastic choice to start in Utah. They sell those buckets of chicken for the whole gigantic quad wife family. Yee. I mean, you need a lot of chicken if you want to feed, you know, a family of 12. See, one of these little areas right here, see how absolutely caked it becomes when you highlight like that. Dry brushing this little zone, I would literally be about going this fast with a real brush. It'd just be like, bam. So the brush would be having a whole lot better job on the brush strokes here. Faster. Faster, mouse. I think I'm missing a whole lot. There we go. 4 wives is more like 24 people. Well, it depends on, you know, if you also let all of the people your family marry stay with you, because that's a thing that Utah does too. And somehow, people have money to take care of that big of a family, and I don't know how they do it. Get me that job. Give me the job that is capable of feeding a family of, you know, 18. At least in the polygamous cult town I grew up in, families got pretty damn big. Nah, Chris. Where I grew up, these people legit had that many kids. 5 adults, 4 moms and dad. 19 kids or more. It's too many. Oh, and I don't doubt it. I do not doubt it in the least. I've seen families. And then there's the Utah family who likes to really act, you know, holier than thou by also opening up their doors to be a foster home. And I'm like, I'm all about foster parenting. I am all about it. I think it's fabulous and a neat idea, but too many people here, they treat it like a status thing. Too many people treat it like a status thing around here, because they're like, wow, look at how caring and loving our home is. Not to downgrade any families out there who are legitimately, you know, doing foster home stuff and actually, you know, loving the people that you have and take care of. I'm just saying, here in Utah, it's weird. It's a very different dynamic, and I've experienced it firsthand. So if I dry brush enough, will it actually, like, just cover it? No. Interesting. The foster system is so horrible in the U.S., at least. Alan grew up in foster care. What the hell? what hell it was for him. Yeah, I have friends who also grew up in the foster care system, and it's like, it's because that's what I mean. That's the problem, especially in Utah. Is it's not a it's a symbol. It's a status thing. They don't actually treat it like, we're gonna help take care of people. And it's sad, and it's wrong, and it's just, ugh. And there is our rock. Oh, I see. We're trying to... Yeah, see, we're trying to just get the top layer here. Okay, that's really clever. That's fun. Look at my 7 foster children. It'll be 9 next week. I'm such a great person. Alright, children, here's your rations. No fighting. Last time, one of you lost an ear. Alright, see you in 2 weeks. Yeah. Yeah. It's so sad to say that it's like, I wish that was a joke, but... Also, maybe it's just me, but I would not be using a airbrush for this. No, it's legit that bad at times. So, yep, that's what I mean. It's like, I wish I could say I was exaggerating, but it ain't. It's that bad, and I've seen kids go through it, and it's, in my personal opinion, kinda, wrong. Hold on. You know, here I thought I turned down the sound effect a little bit. Not really. I did not. Did not. I don't know enough about airbrushing, I think, to really make the call as to whether or not this is the appropriate way to be applying this technique. Like, my experience with airbrushing is that airbrushing is designed to get like a good level coating of a particular color on something that, you know, isn't a fine detail. But that's just my experience. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. So you can also do you can also do things with a airbrush technique that is going to give it a lot more consistency. See, watch, if I go down to like this and I get all along the edge of what I want to be doing here. Let's see. Replaying Security Breach for maybe the 4th time. Damn. Going from lowest settings to 1440p, highest quality settings, medium ray tracing, works pretty well. Had to obtain a more updated version to get acceptable performance, but this is pretty good now. Big patch I mentioned in the last part of the FNAF was released. Lots and lots of bug fixes, better performance, slide changes, overall a good update. Sent a screenshot. I'm in the lobby at the start, and it looks pretty good. That's good. One of these times, you know, when the game gets its shit together, could be one of those games maybe it's worth a revisit somewhere down the line, but I would need new player. I'd want to get like a new player, someone who hasn't played it yet, and be like, hey, you want to come play some of the Five Nights games? We'll have some fun. And they'd be all like, oh yeah, the Five Nights games are fun. And I'd be like, have fun. This is one thing you can do really, really well with an airbrush, though, I do know, is you can do really good just steady line tracing. So that way, see how I kind of I just want to trace this edge? I can accomplish that really easily. In real life, too, with an airbrush. Let's see. Do you remember what you had your settings for that game? High as I could get them. Send a screenshot. I'm in the lobby at the... Oh yeah, you sent a screenshot. High, medium, low. I believe I was on running on high. That's all they give you. That's all they give you. No advanced options at all. All or nothing. Yep. Change the Staffbot's flashlight to look nicer. Oh, good. Perform better. That's good. Because they were catching me at odd times. Seems like kind of a small detail, but there's so many of those little freaks, and it's something you end up seeing a lot. Don't I know it? I remember my encounter with Staffbots. I hate them. Whoop. Whoop. There we go. Yep, come on. I can get the hang of these controls one day. Today is not that day, apparently. Ugh. Oh man, look at this. I would not use an airbrush here. There we go. There we go. No, I mean the flashlights they hold to shine a spot on the floor in front of them. That lighting effect has been improved. Ooh. That's kind of, yeah. Is that not what I thought that was what my understanding was. Is that it's a improvement on the actual light. Or did you think I meant the actual, like, flashlight? Looks like the game is getting DLC, and as far as we can tell, fairly soon. DLC, huh? What kind of DLC? I think. I try not to think on my days off. Life is better that way. Whoops. There we go. Though technically it's not a day off. I mean, did go to work today. And not just like I walked into work and I did my own projects. Like no. I went in and got like paid today, kind of work. I actually had to do stuff. Whoop, whoop. I'm being very meticulous here. There we go. Now we can get a nice layer. Nice layer of paint. I wonder what this little virtual me is using to hold this up while he does all this. Am I just using gloves in a hand? Do I have a stand? I don't think I have a stand. You talked about them catching you too easy. They didn't change the radius or their grab or anything. Yeah, they just made it more clear about what the radius actually is, essentially. That's my understanding, if I'm understanding correctly. Which I could not be. That is very much within the realm of possibility. See, nah, just the flashlight looks nicer. Alright. So yeah, just a change in how it looks to make it more, you know, make it more whatever. Hey, how did I miss this side? Oh well, I'll get that back. I'll get that when I come back around. Oh yeah. It's also my understanding that airbrushing has a much better fan than this. Okay, let's go to the next. Oh, back to the wash. And they're making me get the wash around something. Okay. Back to the wash. I can't increase the size of this one. It's probably just a matter of, like, I could probably unlock bigger brushes, my assumption. Let's see. Just playing the game and comparing the performance pre and post major update. It feels like in development they realized it didn't run well enough on anything at all to be played on high or with RTX. They def made it run the best they could for low while they were crunched for time. Pre-update game settings are unplayable. I played it pre-update. I played it start to finish, pre-update. Hell yeah. True gamer style. Damn game, you gonna do me dirty like that and have these little, like, crevices and not proper ink physics? You bastards. Why would they do this to me? Why would they do this? I mean, on my hardware, which is better now, it was just poorly optimized. Very poorly. See? You don't know. It might still be poorly optimized. You don't know. I mean, you have the benefit, at least, Jordan, of being able to say, like, oh, well, I have, you know, you had all the spoils happen. Because you saw my gameplay of it. And you're playing it for the 4th time. Spoiler alert. The bear doesn't eat you. I totally thought the bear would eat me. In fact, I'm not giving up on it. I think the bear still will. Is there an Evil Freddy DLC? Game gonna do me dirty like that? I see how it is. Alright, if there's one thing I gotta complain about this game right here and now, it's the wash mechanic is just, it's not a very good wash mechanic. Not how real, you know, washing works when you're painting. Like at all. Oh my goodness, game, you're full of cracks. You're full of things here. full of these little divots here. Just full of your little divots. You know, brush them in. Will the game give me better results if I use a circular pattern? Not really. Oh, it was worth the try, though. Was worth the try. I don't know what I just... Oh, I clicked the dropper right there, didn't I? Okay. What is this little... Oh, it's a favorite button. I wish there was a way to make it bigger. Wish there was a way to make it so much bigger so I could just... actually, you know... wash this paint properly. Never understood why people think that this part of the painting process should take this long. Like, washing is one of the fastest things you can do. People are impatient. So they act like they gotta be super technical and, like, really careful with where they place their wash. And I'm like, no, just do it. Go. Do the thing. It'll look great. Because the thing of it is, what really gets everyone is the fact that they're not patient. That is why they're bad at this part of the technique, is because they sit there and act like they can't get the wash on any surface other than what you're trying to get it into. And so it takes forever because they get such little paint. They get little, you know, bits of paint in their brush when they do this. And it's like, no, go to town. Do it. Don't be afraid. Just go for the gold. Because what they're afraid of is having to wait for it to dry. Which doesn't make any sense, because it's like, I mean, you have to, you know, let it all dry on its own at a rate anyway, so just, you know. Why not just go hog wild? Get in there. If you're just, because they're impatient because they want to get it inked and then they want to let it sit there for only a little bit and then they want to start painting again. It's like, let it sit for a full-on hour. Really give it the time to... This is why I like inks better, is because, like I said, with inks, you just add a little bit of paint thinner, something that's going to make it so that your paint doesn't dry up immediately, and just, you know, fill in the gaps, do a quick wash over, do your drops, and then just come back in an hour. Go watch an episode of Friends or whatever the kids are watching nowadays. I'm not really that old, and I never watched Friends. Though Friends was a big show at a time when it should be a big show for me, I never watched it. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. What's the hype around the show Friends? Anyone? Anyone capable of answering that one? Because I don't think I ever really found it funny. Though people have told me it's funny. Okay, I think we're good. Get right up into that crib. Yeah, buddy. Whoop. Go down. There we go. Changed so fast on me, I couldn't keep track of it. Who was it that gave us this model? Like Grandpa Stan or something like that? Tell Stan to, you know, knock it off with the giant rocks next time, maybe. Because giant rock is... real pain in the ass to wash. E. It's all coming together. Here we go. Down here I should be able to just kind of go a little hog wild and just get it. I have a friend of mine who paints who doesn't like using a dry brush. He does not like using a dry brush. He will commit to doing individual highlights where they need to go. And I'm like, that's intensive. Because imagine having to do all this just one line at a time without the ability to just, like, you know, speed through with your dry brush. But like I said, there are people out there who they go a little too hog wild with the dry brushing. This game is luckily forbidding me from doing that. This game will let me dry brush all day long, and it's like, yeah, you can't actually get more than we allow you to because game. You know how hard it would be to actually have a proper paint program that just let you do that sort of thing. At least to the level of fine detail that like a professional painter can get. Lets me make mistakes, like namely right here, which I think is a nice touch. Makes it feel like it's not just a coloring book for adults. Brush, brush, brush. At what point did I end up turning this thing upside down? Must have gotten in a fight and got scared. That's a, you know, that's a reference. For anyone out there who is big into 90s television, you'll probably get it. Or you won't, I don't know. I keep forgetting there's always the chance that someone just does not know the reference. There we go. I knew there was something in this little crevasse that just didn't look right. There we go. Alright, hold on. Let me get my bearings for a second. Here we go. I would do this dry brush before I did the gold one, personally. And I would also dry brush these little spikes, because here's the reason. I know that it says, oh, well, you're going to dry brush that in gold here in a second. I know. That's why I'm doing it with the green as well, because I really want that edge to pop. You know, I really want to give it a color. And that's what it can do. Real techniques like that, when you're using this in the real life, it will give it just a little bit of that elevation. That's gonna make it, you know, just a little more striking. I also deliberately did not, you know, try to smooth out the green on top of the gold as perfectly as I could, because I want some of the gold to kind of layer itself up, because it's obviously, you know, some kind of gold green kind of dragon looking thing, and I want that gold to help stand. At the same time, I understand that it, you know, it might agitate some. There we go. Back on course. Can't wait to be able to buy a bigger brush. Also, the little tracker up here, 12%, is not inspiring a ton of confidence. Be like, oh boy. It should not take me this long to get base colors and an initial wash on a fig of this size. Especially not if you want to be like a professional painter. You do not have the luxury of having... Well, if you're a professional, you might, because you'd have the luxury of being able to say, like, I can charge whatever the hell I want, and someone will pay it. But, see, I got a job. I got offered a job a while back to do painting en masse for people. Just painting little figs like this. And... No, not like this, but you know what I mean. And one of the things that you just have to do is you're like, okay, you gotta have like... Gotta learn these techniques that are gonna simplify how you paint. Because they're gonna want you to paint, like, you know, anywhere between 5 to 10 figs an hour. From start to finish. Done. Hour. So, if you're doing 5 of them, you should have like 40 figs done within a work day. And it's like, okay, that's intense stuff. And so you gotta learn the techniques of just being able to say, how do I properly color coordinate to make this you know, kind of stand out on its own. The best way to do it, honestly, is find some good base colors. Use contrasts that you know are going to work. And just paint base colors. Don't, you know, overdo any technique. Do a quick base color, do a wash of a shadow color, and then do a dry brush of a highlight, and you're done. Like, that's what you need to learn how to do if you want to try to get stuff done if you want to try to get like professionally painted stuff done fast. I can say that with some experience because, like I said, I got offered a job to do it. I turned it down because I'm like, no. That sounds like a lot of work for not enough payout. Reminds me, I wonder if they ever found anybody to do that job. Probably not. Another thing people always worry about is being afraid to touch another little territory. Kind of like what I did just right here. Don't be. There's a moment where you can go in and you can fix absolutely everything by hand. Do not worry. Alright, let's start at the top again. About to say, I'm going to start at the edge. I'm going to work my way inside. For very obvious reasons that you do not need to be a painter to understand. For a lot of beginners too, a lot of people are gonna, sit there and tell you that, professionals won't use those kind of techniques. They're gonna use this advanced stuff, and I'm like, that's true. But they'll, they still will, because in any profession, in any trade, hobby, what have you, I don't care if it's painting, music, writing, basket weaving, anything. Any professional will tell you that the proper technique is the one that works. Don't stress about doing it the way the professionals do it. Do not. Because the professionals, that comes with practice. The speed and the just like, oh, this is easy. I just do this and it all of a sudden it magics. It just does. All of a sudden, the thing looks 10 times better than anything you've ever created in your life, and you feel absolute shame for it. Do not feel that shame. Every professional, no matter what, has been in the same boat. It's a matter of time sink. The more you dedicate to that one thing, the easier it will come. Whoops. Damn. I was about to say, that was probably one of the worst buttons I could have pressed right there. And so, as I was saying, when you want to pick up a new hobby, like, you know, and I always encourage people to pick up a hobby, a new one, an old one, just do. Creativity is a good thing. But what it comes down to is don't feel the frustration. I talked a little bit about this. I'm going to reiterate my points on it, in fact, when I talked about investments. There comes a time where people will invest into something, whether that is time, effort, money, what have you. If you're investing in, let's just use a sheer example. Say you're investing into a relationship. You're investing your time into a relationship. You want something in this to be better, and so therefore you are taking these steps to do whatever. Investments take time. And it gets frustrating when you don't see immediate payout. It does. And the goal should not be to have a payout right away. The goal should be to make something better. Make something you're doing better. This is one of the things I've been applying when I do my streams. This is why I got a green screen. This is why I got a face cam. This is why I've, done the things that I've been doing, is because I'm like, look, I don't have a lot that I can give, but I'm going to invest what I can. And by doing what I can, I start to make progress. Things will get better. And I know this. But there's something in there. There's something in the brain. The brain tells you, no, it's not going to get better. Something in the brain is telling you that everything is wrong. You're screwing it up. You're the problem. Something in your brain will do that. Do not stress. I tell you now, do not stress. It will get better. Investments take time. And it's hard. I'm gonna freely admit that too. It is so difficult to dedicate to maintaining a state of mind that says no. We will eventually see return on this investment. I'm going to keep at it. And then what ends up happening that's stupid. I should not normally be able to do this on a real fig, but I'm taking full-on advantage of it. What was I saying? Anyway. What ends up happening when you start to make it so that you are dedicating your time to doing any kind of progress towards these investments. What happens is it gets better slowly. And when it gets better slowly, you start to not notice any changes. When you first start doing these kinds of investments, you notice no change, and it's frustrating because you think that change should be happening. This is the wrong state of mind for thinking. What you should be doing is you should be approaching it with this idea that the payout will come. And you just need to bide the time. Now let's see, where were we on this guy? Where was I? There we are. So, what it comes down to is this. Even when it comes to like a little talent like this, it's like you don't have to... What if it's playing a game competitively? Playing a game competitively is a great example of this. You do not just pick up a game and get to go, well, I've played it a bunch of times, I should be getting better, right? Well, are you applying yourself to being better at it? Or are you just playing the game and hoping that one day you'll get better at it? Because that's not how that works either. Same reason, let's go back to the relationship one for a hot second. Same reason why that never pans out. Why just, let's wait it out and we'll see if things get better. Don't do it. I tell you now, you run into the same problems. It's the same problems you run into with any investment, is that if you try to rush something, it's going to be bad. If you try to just, sit on it and wait, you're never going to see the sort of massive flux of anything that you are expecting. And this gets applied all over the place in all your different investments, in all of your doings, your talents, your hobbies, your whatevers. The goal should never be to do something in the hope that it's going to make something else better. You should be doing it because you want to be better at the thing, or you want something out of this thing. Same thing happens with money all the time. People are doing the whole like, well, I invested in crypto and it's not paying out. And be like, don't expect it to, just suddenly make you a multi-billionaire overnight. It won't happen. People who do that get in trouble with the law. Because the law basically says, hey, how'd you do that? And then you gotta sit there and kind of explain it to them and be like, oh, well, I did... Whoopsie doodle. All of a sudden, other people want your techniques. About how you all of a sudden just made a whole bunch of money in the crypto. And the people who do that, they write books. Because turns out they didn't actually make that much in crypto. They made some, and then they... And then they rode that gravy horn, that gravy train. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the painting. Welcome to my TED Talk. So, in regards to hobbies, investments in hobbies, this one can be tricky. This one can be really, really tricky. When you are investing something into a hobby, something that you're just enjoying because you just want to enjoy it, the thing that happens, there's two different ways it can go. It can either go the direction of you pick up this hobby and yeah, it's, fun and all that, and you put it aside and you never touch it again. This is the kid to karate class metaphor. Kid saw a karate movie and was like, that's so cool, and he wants to get involved in it, and he wants to go to learn karate, and you take him to karate, and then 3 weeks later he's like, I'm bored with it. It's the, and then all of a sudden you're like, alright, well, we're out that $40, thank God, karate outfits are not that expensive, and we can just say, cool, let's move on with our lives. mom and dad are just gonna like, cool, whatever. And then there are personalized hobbies where for some reason you pick it up and you're like, I wanna do this. I've always wanted the kind of hobby that, all right, where am I at? I like to call these the hobbies of the someone who wants to know things. I keep going the wrong direction. There's a person who actually wants to accomplish something. Now, accomplishing something and like just picking up a hobby are very, very different. This is why I have to differentiate. Because someone who wants to do a hobby obviously has some kind of plan in mind. They want to get good at it. They want to be good at their hobby. They want to have the recognition of being good at something. And what better thing to get good at than something you already enjoy doing? It seems obvious. And people do this all the time. But then, this is the most common, thing that you get good at. This is the most obvious kind of investment because there was a really great analogy that got told to me. I'm going to put my hands aside for a second to actually tell you this. Is that winners forget they're in a race. They just love to run. So when you're actively enjoying the thing that you're making, or you're doing, or you're investing in, you're going to naturally start to gravitate to doing something better. And you're going to want to do better. Until, at some point, you don't have to get better. You're good at it. You're happy. These style investments are exceptionally complicated. Because where to start? Oh boy. Like, I did the same when I was doing my whole vocal lessons and everything. I was, I did the whole choir thing, and I was like, yeah, choir's fun and all, but I'm like, I want to do what I want to do. I want to sing what I want. I want to perform how I want. I don't care. And you know what? Now, I don't sit here and plan on thinking I'm gonna, be the next Andrea Bocelli or some other nonsense. It's like, no, I sing when I want to sing, and I have fun when I do it. And I don't need to prove anything to anyone else, and that is the key. Get to the point where you are doing a hobby or making an investment that you don't care what other people think of the result. That's the best time. That's the best time. Because while you may not be the best at it, you might not be an Olympiad. Might not be competing at the Olympics in, underwater basket weaving, but boy howdy, can you make an underwater basket. Damn. You know what I mean? And if it's the thing you enjoy doing, who's gonna stop you? What are they gonna do? Prove you wrong? Be like, that's stupid. Okay, you do it then. What are they gonna do? They're gonna go, they're gonna weave a basket underwater better than you? I doubt it. Because it turns out you were the underwater basket enthusiast of the century. And, they're just talking out their ass. Whoop. Whoop. I can barely tell what gets painted on this thing sometimes because of the shadows. The shadows happen, and I'm like, interesting. as I was saying, yeah, that's my TED Talk for the day. I go on these tangents from time to time. If you like listening to my random tangents, come hang out more. You're gonna hear them. I do a lot on video games. I do a lot on design. I do a lot of it on any kind of creativity, honestly. And normally I have sourcing and information to back me up, but yeah, you never know. Sometimes, you know what, the realm of public opinion is just fine and dandy. I mean, what are self-help books for, right? They're the same thing. It's just, you need a self-help book? Or, bleh. You need a self-help book? God knows I need one for speaking. But you just, you're literally going to the realm of public advice for that one, because that's all it is. You're just asking someone who, can do that thing, and you're like, yeah. How do I get better at it? And they go, oh, just do this. You're like, that's it? And they're like, yeah, that's it. That seems kind of easy, don't you think? I mean, I've been doing it for years and years. The same thing with the whole basket weaving thing. It's like, basket weaving seems really complicated to us. To us morons who've never weaved a basket underwater before, and we're like, I don't know. How do you hold your breath for that long? Well, you don't, dumbass. You take a rebreather and you go down there with a tank and you weave a basket underwater. That's what you do. And you're like, oh, why did I think it was more complicated than that? And I don't know. Because you're stupid, that's why. And really what it comes down to is what I said before. When you find the ability to dedicate your time to something that you love, you will never be disappointed in your result. Even right now where I'm like, I don't know, this thing looks kind of trash baggy, you know what I mean? Like, is this the best paint job in a virtual setting ever? Probably not. But once it's done, I'm going to be pretty damn proud of it. You want to know why? Because I did it. And I think that's the biggest hitch up for so many people. This comes back to the investment talk, is that when you invest into something, you feel this tension of not seeing result. I'm going to take a drink of water real fast to not die. Anyway, and so this happens all the time. This is what's frustrating about investments, is you don't see a return, you don't see the return. And it makes you aggravated because you're like, I should be seeing, a return by now, right? Well, depends on the thing. But what it comes down to is that once you get that result back, that was rough. Once you get your result back, once you start to see that the investment is paying out, it's one of the best feelings in the world. You get such a sense of accomplishment because you're like, I did this. And it's just, It's the same thing with any kind of accomplishment. I'm going to use an example. When I paid off my first car, one of the best days ever was paying off my first car. I had a loan on a car, and it took a number of years to get it paid. Goodbye, cat. Go on. I love you. And you too, chat. Paid off my first car. I had a loan for, I think, 6 years at the time. And in year 6, like, the car it'd been through 6 years of use. The thing was, honestly, starting to get to the point where it's, like, kind of old and busted, you know? Like, it's really starting to show its miles, if you know what I mean. Didn't matter. the moment I paid off that car, the moment I walked out of that bank with my last receipt that said that I had, like, you know, tapped out that negative account and it's now at a full zero, because that's how banks do it. They actually have an amount and you're slowly chipping away at that amount. And as soon as that was up, I walked out of that bank feeling like $1,000. Oh my goodness. It was such a good moment because I had that sense of accomplishment coming from an investment finally pay out. It took 6 years, but I did it. I stuck it out. And everyone else you can do the same with any investment you set your mind to. Stick it out. Keep doing it. Come on, just go. Yep. There we go. I can get in this little crevasse now. See that? See? It's coming along great. Get a few of these little patches that I can see from a distance. And alright, now we gotta do the horns. I forgot about those. Forgot to do the little spikes out of the gold here. How do we end that little TED Talk? Do we do the very usual, you too can be a winner by buying my book for, you know, $19.99. Nah. Cat. Yeah. Yeah. The cat's trying to destroy the lighting again. In typical cat fashion. Trying to destroy the lighting. Oh well. Now, where were we? Painting little spikes. Hmm. There we go. Just want to kind of get like... Just want to get some of these major edges on the... There we go. Let's hurry up and do... There we go. Bam. Nailed it. There we go. Wonder why it was such a whatever color before. Oh, now we're talking. Look at that. That's gonna be fun. Oh, you back already, Cat? Yeah, you back already? Are you done trying to destroy the lighting stand? I don't think she is, but, you know. Let's get it good. Let's get it good. Get it good. Get it good. Yeah, excellent. Excellent. This is what airbrushes are great for, is you can get such good color transitions between these two by just grading it in super well. This is where it's gonna take a whole lot of time to do, I'm thinking. You can do lots of really cool color techniques when you work with, like, especially when you're doing fire with the you know what, words, yeah. Airbrush, thank you. Oh my goodness. My only complaint is that I'm fairly certain that a airbrush applies paint faster than this. So yeah, we get a good color gradient. We want to keep some of that. We want to keep all that little fading out as it goes down. That's why you do one straight line along, because it's not shooting paint in a straight line. It's shooting paint in a circular little air pattern. So you make your line and then you work above that for your gradient. You keep that gradient down at the bottom and it looks so good when it's done right. You don't have to do a line. Like, your line can go up and down and touch a little bit. Touch the tip of this one, but not much else, you know, or touch a little bit more on this one. Touch just barely onto that one. Don't touch this one hardly at all, or do it like, you know, a whole lot more. The point is to create a natural sort of look. So for one like this, I might want to go a little bit lower, because it's like, well, it's reaching its, you know, natural tip on the flame. Or maybe this one should have been, like, red a little bit higher. Should have stayed red higher. Don't know. But you know what? We've made our choice. And this is half the fun of painting, is understanding that these are the choices you make. And you can take a step back, you can fix it if you want. Or, you know what? Run with it. And I just know that as soon as I say that, you know, I want my my airbrush painter here to actually apply the layer a little bit, you know, just a tick faster. I mean, it's pretty slow on the application here. Someone's going to be like, well, I mean, we kind of want that gradient look, so we want to keep it, like, really slow and just, you know, work it for 3 hours, so that way it looks good. And I'm like, it's a virtual painted model. It's not like I'm asking you to enter into a competition with it. I'm asking, you know, I like to think that it wouldn't be asking for too much to make the airbrush a little more efficient and quick. You know, like maybe actually spray the size of the circle that I have here. I would be giddy about that, because then I'd be like, yeah, what I'm spraying is going to get sprayed with paint. But it isn't. There we go. I'm now satisfied with that. Let me just finish up this little piece here, and I'm gonna call it a stream, because it is past 11. It is past our time, our normal time, that is. Sometimes on Fridays I go later if I'm like super occupied in what I'm doing. Right now I'm kind of like, I'm happy, but I'm not like coming back to it. I'm not invested. coming back to the talk. Look at that. It's all coming around. I might still play this game, but it's gonna be like mostly an off-stream thing, or like a hey, I wanna have a chill stream kind of situation, you know? I might bring this back up with a different model and be like, look, here you go. I wonder if they have any what is the word I'm looking for? The snap build Gundam pieces. Those could be a lot of fun. I would love to be able to paint one of those right now. Not paint, build. Oh my goodness. Said paint, but I'm like, no, it's a snap Gundam. I don't paint that. Well, you can paint them, but only for like touch-ups. They come with color already on them. Man, I just want to paint this in real life. Why can't I just do that? Because I'd have to buy the fig. Man. It's always the trouble. I'd have to buy the piece, I'd have to get my paints out, and I'd have to do this. And I'm like, I just want to paint. I want to paint, but I don't want to go through the hoops to let me paint. I want just a little bit on some of these major edges. I don't want what I accidentally did here. Good enough. All right. Slap that on there. Together. And now that the tail and the base are done, before I actually get into more dragon, because apparently, you know, painting a dragon should take you well over 2 hours. We're gonna call it there. And I don't think I have anybody to go raid and bother, so nah, not really. So we're just gonna, wrap it up at that. So Tuesday, am I playing more Elden Ring? Perhaps, maybe, possibly, kind of, sort of, yeah. It could be any of those. It's been a really, really busy week for me, and I will be assessing and figuring out what it is I'm going to be playing for the next week, because a whole bunch of stuff kind of got jumbled up into the air because Elden Ring ended up being really, really good. Now I want to do some other stuff. I talked about playing some Magic the Gathering Arena. That sounded like a whole lot of fun. And then I found this, and I was like, I kind of want to play this. This sounds like a lot of fun, and it is. I've been having fun, but it's my own kind of like lethargic fun, not so much the super interactive stream types. So probably not gonna come back to this one for stream, just because reasons. That's my reasons. And yeah, but I had fun. I hope everyone else had fun. So thank you everyone for coming and hanging out. And when I see you on Tuesday, until then, talk to ya.